2, 3, 1, 2.
Be thou my vision, O Lord God, my heart. Between now and 18, though the cause may be lost, and all the time I've wasted, these moments I'll mourn. You know that I think there you fall, there you fall. And David, your call to keep time to my heart, and the words I keep close, the whisper of new life.
Hey, hi, welcome back. Long time no see. Not that that's your fault, that's all on me. And with that awkward intro, let's just get right back into it. It has been a while, and yeah, I feel like April didn't even really happen. I don't know. I left you guys sometime mid-March and woke up again and it's May. I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, thanks for coming back. If you're a returning viewer and if you're new, welcome. I'm your host, Heather. I'm a knitter from Chicagoland and I live here with my husband. More on that later, returning viewers. And our 3 kids and our dog Beckett. And this is where I ramble on about knitting and other things for as long as you kind people will put up with it, frankly. You can find me on Instagram as thefourthstarknits, where I'm terrible about posting content, but I definitely enjoy looking at what you're knitting. And you can find me on Ralvery as thefourthstar, where I'm also really bad about updating my project pages, but I try to get to it from time to time. You can email me, and I also got a post office box. Crazy. Yeah, I'm at the point where I need a post office box, which is very, very cool. I'm excited. So I will put all that information below. So if you want to send me a postcard or whatever, there's a way to do that now. And that's cool. So anyway, yeah. So kind of a spoiler alert since I said husband, but we got married. We got engaged in December. If you're a returning viewer, you know this. But yeah, so as it turns out, like trying to plan a wedding in a pandemic is a complete and utter nightmare. And yeah, our friends and family are kind of like all along the spectrum of how they feel and think about this pandemic and what is going on and how it should be handled. And trying to get all of those people who we love together in one place safely and where everyone feels comfortable was just not going to happen. And my husband and I have been together for quite a long time, and it just didn't make sense to wait. So we went to the courthouse and got hitched, and it was great. And yeah, now we are basically planning for a party next year when hopefully everything is really smoothed over and we can, you know, have all of our loved ones with us to celebrate. And that's the plan. So yeah, that's my big news. Got married. And let's see, what else happened? It's been a busy month, you guys. Holy cow. We had to replace our roof. So it was very noisy around here for a while. And then the HVAC system went out, which we knew was going to happen. And so we had to replace that. So again, more noisy work. And that's my way of explaining why, or part of the reason why I have not been podcasting, because every single weekend it's just been really, really noisy. Like you can't podcast when it's really noisy and there's people all over, you know. And yeah, it's just been crazy. So yeah, so that happened. And what else happened? Oh, and then in the meantime, so the other thing that enables me to podcast is my kid's dad typically takes, so we have 3 kids, my twin sons who are 17, my youngest who's 15, and normally they go to their dad's on the weekend. Well, their dad has been in the middle of trying to sell his house, and he was supposed to sell it this past month, and something happened last minute with the buyer. And anyway, they had already moved out, but they didn't end up selling their place. And so they were like staying at his wife's sister's or something like that. All that to say, the kids really haven't been going to their dad's because their dad is kind of like in between houses at the moment because, you know, that's just how the universe works. It's like, we're gonna like make you replace your roof and make you replace your HVAC and make your kid's dad temporarily homeless for a little bit just to make things extra complicated. And that's what we've been dealing with. So all that to say, I have not had a quiet moment to myself in pretty much since the last time we talked. And yeah, and actually today was supposed to be a day that I could finally spend some time alone with my husband because my one son is over at my mom's having a pool party with his friends, and the other two actually did get to go to their dad's this weekend finally to spend some time with him. So I had some peace and quiet, was gonna spend the day with Abraham, my husband, and he got called out for work. So right now he's in Lowell, Indiana, fixing a process burner. So, but on the upside, I had an opportunity to sit here and reconnect with you all. So I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, that about catches. Oh, and then the other thing is I was taking a knitting class at Elgin Knitworks, which is my not so local yarn store, but it's the yarn store that I love. And that was every single Saturday. And even with that, I was only able to make it to the first 2 classes. The last 2 I haven't been able to make for various reasons, so that was a real bummer. But I did make it to the first 2, and I will show you shortly the whip that has come out of that class. But it was a class to teach you how to knit the Get Shorty socks by Irene from the Reply podcast. And it's super cool because I got to meet her and talk to her, and I got to meet Angie from the podcast and talk to her, and it was so much fun. Like, I was really trying hard not to like fangirl, but it was really cool to meet them because I remember like before, like pre-pandemic, I ran into Angie at the yarn store and she gave me a business card and was like, yeah, I have this podcast and here you go. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's kind of what like introduced me to like the knitting podcast world. And I started watching her podcast, and that's the reason why I have the podcast now, was because she gave me this business card and kind of introduced me to this whole world. And now I have my own podcast and it's crazy. So it was so cool to get to meet them. It was so cool. So if you have not watched the Reply podcast, you need to check them out. I will link them below. Super cool. So yeah, so that was really, really fun this month. And sorry, I'm kind of doing the chatty portion up front because I just kind of wanted to give you a rundown of like what was going on and why I've been gone. Because normally, you know, I try to release an episode once every 2 to 3 weeks. But this has been a really long absence, so I felt like I needed to explain to all of you why that has happened. And if you have come back to watch this episode, I really appreciate you coming back, especially after me being gone for so long. Yeah, I just appreciate you understanding that life happens sometimes, and sometimes you don't get to do the things you want to do, and you have to focus on doing things you need to do. And that's kind of been my story for the last 6 weeks or so. Anyway, the next item of business is I need to pick winners. You guys, on my last episode, I was celebrating the marker of getting 3,000 subscribers, and which is so cool. And I asked you guys to put a recipe in the comments, and that would be your entry because like I've been kind of bored with cooking and things like that. And holy cow, did you guys deliver? There are so many good recipes, and I haven't commented back or done anything in the comment section for 2 reasons. Number one, because I want to sit and go through the comments and write down a bunch of these recipes, and I didn't want to miss anything. And the other reason is I have a comment picker loaded up on my laptop right now, which is how I'm going to choose the winners. And I didn't want to mess anything up by commenting back or whatever, because the only other way I picked winners before was like I literally like put in all of your names into a spreadsheet and then like picked a number. It was very old fashioned. but I'm gonna try this newfangled way and I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm excited that I can pick winners because then I can go back on that video, look at all your recipes and respond to all your comments. And yeah, very excited to do that. So with that, let's log in here, figure out how to do this together, eh? All right, so I know I put a, whoop, nope, that's wrong. Okay, so I put my YouTube video URL in here. And I think that's it. Okay, so what does it say? It says the number of unique comments is 188. That sounds right. Okay, pick a random winner. Okay. Who's it gonna pick? Who's it gonna pick? Natasha Stevens. Okay, Natasha says, another amazing video. I always love watching your podcast. I feel like I'm just sitting in the family room having a cup of tea and chatting to you in person. My favorite recipe at the moment is chicken noodle stir fry by Jamie Oliver. Oh, love him. So delicious and easily feeds the whole family. I would love to win one of the giveaways. Congrats on 3,000 subscribers. Awesome. Thanks, Natasha. Okay, Natasha, get a hold of me. My email address is below. Yeah, if you could email me. All three of you winners, please email me. I'm really not good at checking my DMs and Ralvery messages and all that. So if you send me an email, that will be the quickest way. Send me your address and where you want me to send your stuff. Okay, let me write this down. Natasha Stevens. Okay, next one. Pick another winner. Oh, this is way easier than the way I was doing it below. And I like how it kind of like goes through everything. Mary Woods, congratulations. Mary says, Pinterest, 20-minute skillet shrimp and sausage is excellent. You will probably have to double the recipe. I brown the kielbasa first and serve it with rice. Congrats on 3,000. Yay! Thanks, Mary. Okay, send me an email so I can send you your stuff. All right, last winner. Pick another winner. Da 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 da. Lisa Loves Stitchin'. That's a great username. I love it. What does Lisa say? Don't worry about your mom's socks. They look beautiful. Thank you. Recipe: chop up 1 whole butternut pumpkin, 1 large sweet potato, 1 onion diced, throw everything into a large saucepan and add a liter of veggie stock or till veg is not quite covered. I also add a tablespoon of turmeric. Cook on high till boiling, then drop to a simmer till veg is soft. When it's cooked through, remove from heat and use your stick blender to carefully smooth your soup. Oh, yummy. I also like to make an herbed butter. Fancy. Raw crushed garlic, oregano, and butter mixed together. Then cook some toast and spread it on. It has some heat to it. Yum! This looks awesome. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so Natasha, Mary, and Lisa, send me your addresses where you want me to send your boxes and I will get those out to you. Yay! That was fun. And if I haven't said this before, if you are, because I'm sure this will not be the last giveaway, but if you are international, I will still ship to you. That is okay. Like, I saw a couple of comments as I was cruising through, like, I'm not entering because I'm international. No. I will still ship to you as long as you have an address I can ship to. And if there's something I need to know about how things need to be shipped to your country, could you let me know? Because I'm like very naive about this kind of stuff. So you 3 winners, if there's anything I need to know about shipping stuff to wherever you're from, please include that in your email to me so that I don't mess it up and make this difficult for you to get your package. So anyway, yay! We're playing with a different camera angle today. I'm trying to see how this works. I feel like having the window directly behind me just kind of like blows everything out. I actually tried to record this podcast. Gosh, it was like really early in the morning and the sun was just like pouring in and it made my eyes this incredibly light, like my eyes almost looked white. That's how ice blue they were, because there was just like so much light. It was very blown out and I was like, it was not working. So anyway, trying a new angle here. We'll see how this works. It's a little bit awkward, but yeah, so let's just get into the knitting now that you're all caught up on my drama and we picked our giveaway winners. Blah, blah, blah. Yay. So, yeah. So I only have 1 finished object right now. because as you will see in a minute, I have cast on all the things again, which is the thing I said I wasn't gonna do, right? So yeah, so I finished another Nordic hat. Look at this. Wow. Not only is my hair like super 80s today, but it's like fluffy as all get out. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, cute, right? I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So I did this one in a man size, and this pattern is really, really easy to adjust based on like your needle size and the yarn that you're using. So this I knit with a really rustic yarn. I don't remember what it is, to be honest. It came from my stash. If you watch my previous episodes, you know I have a whole bag of extra yarn that's just enough for a hat that's dedicated to just making a whole bunch of these for Christmas gifts. So this is a man size one. And again, I just can't say enough good things about this pattern because it looks really complicated, but it's not. It's cute. I feel like this kind of hat is kind of trendy. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. This one came out, here, I'll flash the floats. Look at those floats. Those are tight. This fabric is so dense because I used a much smaller needle size than was appropriate for this weight of yarn. And I love it. Like, this thing is just like, it just stands up on its own. It's gonna be so warm. And it's not uncomfortable either. Like, but it's not a floppy hat. So if floppy hats are your thing, this is not a good thing for you to knit. But yeah, so that's all done. One more for the gift knit box. And then I have just a whole ton of works in progress, which is the thing I said I wasn't gonna do, but apparently I have no self-control, which should surprise no one really. So let me start by showing you the project that I'm working on as part of this class. So they're here in these new bags that I got, and I'll show you the rest of the set a little later. But my boss and my knitting friend, she bought me a whole set of these bags. This is called Splash Fabric Laminated Cotton, and I can't remember what the brand name is, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so it's living in these bags here, these socks that I'm working on. And this is like, these bags have been a game changer for yarn management for me, okay? So the class was to learn the sock pattern, the Get Shorty socks by Irene from the 3-Ply Girls podcast. And we were doing them 2 at a time. And so the main reason why I wanted to take the class, other than I wanted to knit Irene's pattern, is I wanted to learn how to do socks 2 at a time, and they went over that. The rest of the pattern is pretty straightforward. I've knit many socks before, so I'm not too concerned about it. But knitting 2 at a time was something new for me, so how to like figure out with the needles and the yarn management and everything. So they had us set it up like this with 2 sets of needles. And I really like this setup for socks. It's different. It's not as relaxing, probably because I'm just not used to knitting this way, but I'm really excited that I learned how to do this, like super excited. And yeah, so this is how they're turning out. This yarn is called, hang on, because I bought another skein of it. So let me get the name. The yarn is called, oh boy, Schockenmeyer? What does that say, you guys? I have no idea. But it's self-striping yarn, so you can see here, but it's not like regular self-striping yarn. It's got like these little like chunks that come out, and it's designed to do that. Like, it shows on the label of the yarn that this is how it's gonna turn out. Originally, I thought this was because I messed up setting up the self-striping yarn, but that's not the case. This is just how it knits up. And then the contrasting color comes with the yarn set. So this is, and this one I got because it has, this one's self-striping, but you can also get this version that does this little pattern here. So you get the little lice, or the little, I don't know what all you guys call those, when it's just like the little flecks of another color in there. It does that for you automatically, which is really cool. And this yarn is, it's mostly wool, right? Yeah, 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide. And this is the DK weight version of the sock. But there's a, you know, a regular sock weight or fingering weight one as well. Let me find the pattern really quick. And this pattern is so great, guys. Oh my gosh. So you all know how much I love Helen Stewart patterns because she writes out every line of the pattern. Irene does the same thing. God bless you, Irene. God bless you. So for semi-dyslexic people like myself who really have trouble, this is like a game changer. This takes pattern reading from being really difficult and basically me having to rewrite an entire pattern, like write out every line myself. It takes it from that stressful situation to me just being able to print a pattern, read it through, highlight some things, and follow it without completely messing up my project. So I just feel like this is a way more inclusive way to write patterns because it's easy for people like me to understand. So that's I'll get off my soapbox now, but that's my 2 cents about pattern writing. Not that I know anything about it because I've never written a pattern in my life, but that's what I think. And that's why you pay me the big bucks, right? Is to tell you what I think. No, that's not true at all, Heather. But yeah, that's what the sock's gonna end up looking like. Isn't that so, so cute? Love it. My socks are not gonna be shorties. I kept knitting them because I was really enjoying working with the yarn, and I have a lot of yarn, and I thought, well, I might as well just make them long because then I can wear them with my boots in the winter since they're kind of thick. And yeah, really excited how these are turning out. So I'm kind of bummed that I missed the class where they taught everybody how to turn the heel, because this heel construction is a little different. It's not one that, sorry, my camera just shut off. Don't know what that's about. So hopefully I'm picking up in the right place. But what was I saying? I'm kind of bummed because I missed the class where they taught us all how to turn the heel, and this is a different kind of heel construction. This is the Strong heel, originally published by Jardine Crawford Strong, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to learning how to do it. I'm sure I can figure it out for myself, but so that was the other reason why I was like really excited about this pattern. The pattern's super easy to follow. I'm really enjoying knitting it. I just can't wait for these to be done. So yeah, so that's whip number 1. These guys here, and I'm really liking, did I say this already? I forget, I don't know where the video cut off exactly, but I'm really enjoying knitting 2 at a time. So yeah, I need to buy another cord and another set of US size 1 needles so that I can knit these 2 at a time in regular sock yarn as well, because I'm definitely going to buy the fingering weight version of the pattern as well. This one came with the class, which was really, really nice. So my other whip, this is a new cast on, and this is also an acquisition. So the knit group that I'm part of, we made a field trip to a town called St. Charles in Illinois, and St. Charles is one of a bazillion, I call them river towns. I don't know what everybody else calls them, but so river towns in Illinois they're all kind of similar. They're usually came up in the mid to late 1800s. They have a really cute bridge over the river, and then like a really cute old-timey downtown area. And St. Charles is probably one of the best examples of these. It's really cute, and they have a yarn store there called Wool and Company that we stopped in. And I wasn't gonna buy anything. I was gonna be good, but then I saw this whole wall of yarn, and one of the ladies in group, Joanna, helped me pick out these colors, which are not my normal thing. And I just got so excited. I had to, and I had this shawl in my queue for a while, and I thought, okay, well, it's meant to be. So this is the yarn I bought for the shawl. And I love this chartreuse color. I would normally never choose this color for myself, but Joanna empowered me. She empowered me to choose this color. And this is Balayage Baby Alpaca Wool by Pasquale, which is, I've never knit with this before. It's 80% baby alpaca and 20% merino wool. And it is so squishy. It is the squishiest squishy yarn ever. Like, oh, it's so good. So I'm knitting this Pebble Beach shawl by Helen Stewart. And it's just a very simple kind of lacy shawl pattern, and this is all fingering weight, of course. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this like variegated color for this border here, and then everything else will be that chartreuse color. So I think it's going to look pretty good. I'm not very far. I cast this on while we were after we got married. We went to a cabin in southern Illinois for a few days just to kind of get away from it all. Brought the dog, and so I cast this on there. And I knit on it at the cabin. And I knit on it on the way back, and then I put it down and forgot about it for a little while. So, but yeah, it's coming along okay. It's got a nice little start to it. And this is such a dream to knit with. Oh my gosh, this yarn. Just love it. Just messing around with it just now is making me want to like pick this up. I'll probably knit on this when I'm done podcasting. Then I have my... These are the, hold on, this is almost a half finished object. These are the coffee bean socks by Starfiber Studio. And I'm just getting ready I need to start the ribbing on this one. And then this will be a half finished object. And these are toe up socks. I knit the magic loop style, as you can see. And they've got this really cute little twisty pattern on the front that looks complicated, but is not at all. This is a great pattern, and I don't see it getting a lot of love on Ravelry. I don't think a lot of people are knitting it. It's got a really simple heel construction, which is nice. So I turned this heel while I was at an in-person knit night talking to like 8 other women. So I think, you know, if you can turn a heel under those conditions, the heel must be fairly simple. It's just what I'm saying. So yeah, this is a really nice little pattern. If you've not tried toe up before and you want to try toe up, this is a really good pattern for that. I think this one's great. I don't know what this yarn is. This is one of those yarns that came out of my magical Goodwill find of like 2004. And I'm still knitting through that stash find. And yeah, short story on that one is somebody had to part with their amazing yarn stash, and it was like really expensive yarn, and I bought it all for $1 skein, and it was amazing. So yeah, hopefully we'll finish this one soon and I can start the other one and get those off my needles. But now I have 2 pairs of socks on the needles right now, which is not my norm. It's like my yarn swift over here. This is like my new setup. I've got it attached to this chair, and then I just move it around with me so that I can wind balls of yarn, because I have like all the yarn to wind right now, and you will understand why as soon as I show you this next work in progress. So much yarn, all the yarn involved in this one. So let me grab this girl here. I don't know why this sweater is a girl. Sweaters have no gender, right? Okay, so if you watched my last episode, you probably saw me like completely wigging out about the City Limits sweater that I was working on. This is to catch you up. This is the one that I think I redid it like probably 5 times. I was having issue with the short rows. Like I just completely forgot how to do short rows all of a sudden for reasons I still am not clear on. I finally got through all of that after ripping it back multiple times, and then realized like 40 some odd rows in that I had knit a Mobius strip, which is what happens when you're knitting in the round and you twist your stitches in the beginning and like a dummy don't realize it. So I had finally ripped it all apart, organized the yarn again, and I finally, it sat in yarn purgatory for a very long time. Like it was in whip timeout because I just couldn't even look at it. I was so mad. So I finally cast it on again, and I got through the yoke and everything was going beautifully. And then I realized I had somehow gone from knitting the correct size for me to knitting a size that was 2 sizes smaller than the size I needed. So I did really the only thing that a person can do under those circumstances, and I completely panicked, lost my stuff, and then frantically texted my knitting group chat and like, what do I do? How do I fix this? And thank God, like, so a couple of the ladies, Eileen and Joanna, were able to help me with the maths to figure out how to get back to the stitch count that I needed to be at. And fortunately, I'm pretty narrow shouldered, but I'm not narrow in other places. So at least the top part, which I had knit smaller, was still gonna fit okay, according to the measurements that I saw in the pattern. And I was getting perfect gauge, like it couldn't be more perfect gauge. And I was able to like get back to where I needed to be. But what happened, and again, this is why I love like the Helen Stewart type style of pattern writing, because it prevents this kind of nonsense from happening to me. I went through, and this is what I do, is I highlight all of the numbers that pertain to me, right? All of the directions that pertain to me. I highlight all of that stuff so that I just follow along and I don't get lost in all these messy numbers, because this pattern has like a billion sizes. It's super inclusive. So there's a lot of numbers on every single page. And at some point I had gone from highlighting this third size here to like the size that's 2 sizes smaller and just didn't notice it. So I'm just following along, you know. Anyway, it all worked out. We're okay. So let me show you where I'm at, because I think this is looking real good. Look at this fade. Baby, I am telling you, this is where it's at. I am so incredibly happy with how this fade. I feel like I just need to like pan up and pan down, and pan up and pan down. Ah, I'm in love, in love. And the sizing is actually working out like just perfect. Even though like this top part here is the smaller size. This is about where I fixed it, was this first fade. I had made the first color change, and that's when I realized my error. And thank God for the Knit Night girls, because otherwise I would be absolutely devastated. Did I twist this around? I did. Ugh, I'll fix it in a second. But yeah, so this is, again, this is called the City Limits sweater, if I didn't say that before. It's a very simple pattern. It's mostly stockinette, and the standout on this pattern obviously is the fade that you do. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. This is all Direfill yarn. It's 2 strands of fingering weight held together. And this color, the white color here, is Hippogriff, and then it transitions to Dark Magic, which transitions to Camp Crystal Lake, which transitions to Trick or Treat, which transitions to don't remember, and then transitions to Ravenwood. So here's the one thing I will say about this pattern. Because this pattern is gender neutral and very inclusive, there is waist shaping that you can do. So if you're a lady and you need to kind of like tuck it in around the waist, there's directions included for that, but there is nothing included as far as like bust darts or anything like that, which is why I chose this larger size. I knew I was gonna have some positive ease, and depending on your body shape, that might not really do it for you, but where I'm going with this is, let me just show you. Let me just get real awkward in the chair for a second here. This is coming out super long, okay? Because the size is based on the bust measurement, and I needed a larger bust measurement because, you know, well endowed or whatever. And so to make room for the girls, I had to go with this larger size, but then that means that you're a larger size everywhere else. And if you are a human whose body is like you need more room here, but that doesn't necessarily make you taller just because you're more roomy here, then you're gonna have to do a little bit of math. So this is this is where this becomes important. If you're gonna do the fade, which is like kind of the thing of the sweater, right? Because otherwise it's just stockinette. The fade changes for my size every 17 rows. Now, if I had continued doing that, this was gonna end up being a tunic. So I shortened this fade transition here, And this one here is also going to be shortened. And then I'm just going to do one more small one with the dark blue because the next fade is going to be blue and blue together. But if I had gone all 17 rows with these last 3 fades, this thing would have been a tunic. And that's not how the sweater is constructed. So just word to a wise, if you're thinking of knitting this, keep that in mind. And like I said, I'm getting perfect gauge on this. So I mean, my measurements are correct. Everything's fine. It's just, I think for that, when you are thinking about what size you're going to choose, really pay attention to the rest of the measurements, especially the length, and adjust your fade transition row count accordingly. So anyway, this sweater is also designed to be reversible. So let me show you the other side and how this is turning out, because it's turning out real cute. Real cute. So like, look at this cute detailing up the side, right? I just love it. And I really like the pearl side as well. Like, I'm gonna be able to wear this both ways and be really happy. Like, look at this here for the raglan increases. So cute, right? So I'm really close to being able to do, it's got a couple different options for the finishing edges, and I'm gonna do the I-cord bind off, which is something I've never done. So I might be in for a world of hurt there. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. But that's my plan, is to do that. And then I should be ready to finish the sleeves, and then I'll be good to go. I'm thinking I'm gonna do 3/4 sleeves on this one. I haven't fully committed either way yet because I'm not there, but yeah, really excited about this one and how it's turning out. I'm so glad I finally just was able to like knit it through and, you know, kind of see the fade and see some fruits of all of this labor that I put into this stupid sweater. So anyway, that's my big work in process. Hopefully it will be complete the next time we talk. So that's it for active works in progress. I have the husband's favorite stitch it socks still on the needles as well, which are languishing. I still have my Sharon Show shawl, which I just can't bring myself to finish. I have everything organized for the Frostberry jacket. I've got all my yarn ready to cast that on. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in the wings. So if I can just like get some of this stuff finished off, like there's gonna be lots and lots more whips coming. Can't wait. So yeah, so let me talk a little bit about acquisitions. I have made a ton of acquisitions. I kind of did like a one-woman tour of my local yarn stores here. I went to, oh gosh, I can't even remember the names now. Betsy's, which is a tea store or tea shop / yarn store, which I had a great experience. I went to another one in Frankfurt called Yarn to Die For, where I had a not great experience. And I just bought a bunch of yarn. I'm putting together a care package for my cousin in Norway. And so most of the stuff that I purchased there was for that or the giveaway. So there's some goodies that will go in the giveaway boxes too. I'll try to do a little vlog of me like packing the boxes or whatever, so like you can kind of see the prizes I picked out, because I'm really excited about the stuff that I found. I mean, apart from the yarn that I already showed that's going in, I got some other stuff too. But yeah, so I actually have quite a bit of yarn acquisitions, but it's not all for me. So I don't want to show it right now because a lot of it is a gift for Venka. So but I'll show you a couple of things. So the first thing is, look at this afghan. I did not make this. My friend Tracy made this. Isn't it so pretty? Oh my gosh. So this is gonna be like my new, like on my knitting chair. And it's so heavy. So like you put this on your lap and you feel like you're just getting like a hug. It's like a weighted blanket almost. It's so heavy, but like so pretty, right? I can't remember what she crocheted this in. Maybe Lion Brand or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's like super dense, really heavy, and it's so pretty. Like, I just love it. I love it so much. So anyway, yeah, so that's my first acquisition. I don't know how to crochet. So like I look at this and I'm just like, oh, it's magic. But anyway, so yeah, that's my new Afghan. And oh, let me show you the bag. So my boss slash knitting friend, she bought me a set of these bags. So, and I haven't even taken the tags off these because I got so excited when I got these. I'm like, I'm gonna do a huge like reorganize all of my knitting notions and everything, and I'm like not gonna like really like break into these bags until I can do that because I'm gonna get really excited about like using them for the first time, and I just haven't had time to do it. But so she bought me a set of these splash fabric bags, and these are called, what is the name of this company? I do not know. I do not know, friends. Well, it just says splash fabric. Impwear Home, water-based urethane heat set coating, not your grandma's oilcloth. Cool. Okay, we like that. So here's the bags, and it is this like waterproof fabric. So like, you know that whatever you put in here is gonna be safe when you're dragging it around, which is great. Yeah, there's the tag. They're all reversible. Super cute. So that's one. This is the ball sack that I showed you earlier. Then I got this size here for notions. It's got a nice little place to where you can clip it onto other things, which is cool. Smaller one. This is a different pattern. Really cute. And they had all different kinds of patterns for these. So fun. This one I'm really excited about. This is more of like a project bag, which I don't have anything in yet. But it's got pockets on the outside, or if you turn this around, the pockets would be on the inside. But, right? So cute. And I'm telling you, like for yarn management, this like slippery fabric is a game changer, because like the yarn just like comes out of here like so easy. Nothing gets snagged or hung up or anything. It's really, really nice. So again, these are the ones that she got me, and then I bought this little one extra so I could have two of the ball sack size. So really liked that. This next acquisition, I know I said I wasn't gonna buy a lot more yarn, and most of the yarn I bought, like I said, is a gift, so I feel like I'm exempt there. But so I've been going to this knitting class at Elgin Knitworks, and like the last few times I was in the shop, I kept seeing this yarn, and I've seen this yarn at other yarn stores too, and I just didn't buy it because it's quite expensive. But I just couldn't stop touching it every time I was in the store, and I was like, So the last time I was there, I ran into Angie from 3Ply, and she was like, oh, you gotta knit with this. And she showed me this shawl that she'd made. And I was like, oh, like I could totally make that. It's so beautiful. It looks great with that yarn. I can't remember the name of the shawl now. I wrote it down. Thank God, because otherwise, like, this is my brain now, right? Like, I can't remember anything. But anyway, so she used 2 colors for this shawl that she made. And so that's what I did. I bought 2 colors of this Noro yarn, which is freaking beautiful. So this yarn, okay, listen to what is in this yarn, you guys. 26% silk, 21% cotton, 15% viscose, 14% mohair, 12% wool, 12% polyamide. And it is beautiful. Look at this. So I got these two colors. Oh, we're gonna get sunspots now because it's that time of day, right? So pretty. And these were pricey. So that was part of my hesitance to just buy these, right? Because each skein was $41, and that's without tax. And tax in Illinois is like 9.75% now. So I spent a lot of money on this yarn. But again, I couldn't stop touching it. And even though and my rule of thumb is like, if I don't see yarn and immediately have a project in my queue, I think like, oh, I can use it for that. Like, I will wait until I have a project for the yarn, because I don't know. I just can't bring myself to buy pretty yarn just for stash enhancement. Like, I just can't do that. It feels wrong for me. So, but then when Angie like showed me the shawl, and it was like, oh, okay, so this yarn does have a project. And so I just needed that little push from Angie to to make this purchase. So I did, and I'm super, super happy about it. So these are just waiting in my basket, waiting for me to finish up all this other stuff so I can dig into this. But I can't tell you how many times they sit in this basket on my table and I just like pick them up and look at them or squish them. So like I'm enjoying them now, even though I'm not even knitting with them yet. So I feel like that was a worthwhile investment. So a couple other things I've been working on making, because like I said, I just haven't had a whole lot of time for crafting, and I really haven't knit or done anything in the last like week and a half. But I've been making stitch markers. So, and I'm happy. These are just really simple little stitch markers, but I'm pretty happy with how they're turning out. I really love these types of closures for, because you can use them as progress keepers, or you can use them as stitch markers, and they're perfectly round, which is really nice. So I made a whole bunch of these little like moon shaped stone ones. I just did all different kinds, right? Super cute. And this is just like beading stuff that I've either like purchased over the years or whatever. But I bought a bunch of these types of closures on Amazon just in a pack, and then I've just been attaching them to stuff, and it's been really, really fun. So, and then I made some like this style stitch markers, and I did find on Amazon these little charms, which are making me want to learn how to play with resin so bad. Like I have time for another hobby right now. I don't even have time for the hobby that I love. I don't know when I'd find time to learn how to do this, but I found these charms and I loved them. Look how cute. The little bubble teas. Got the little straw, right? So cute. And then I found these other ones that are fruit teas or fruit waters. See, so they have little watermelon and oranges in them and stuff. Oh, sorry, the sun is gonna be very uncooperative right now, but you get the gist. They're very cute. So I really like those. And then I made just a whole bunch of, I really like this style of stitch marker for when I'm doing like short rows, or I just need like a whole bunch, this kind that has like the bead on it. Yeah. And again, I just bought a whole bunch of jump rings and like the larger size seed beads. I think I got them on sale, like Joann's or something like that. I can't remember. So I just made a whole bunch of those just to add to my notions. So that's been really fun. And yeah, that's about it for the knitting and crafting and acquiring of the things that have to do with knitting and crafting. So anyway, so if that's what you were here for and you're gonna take off, thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. And yeah, there's honestly not too much else to talk about. I'm gonna try to keep this podcast kind of short and sweet because I really just wanna like get it out in there in the world and reconnect with everybody because I feel like I've just been gone so long. And there's honestly not too much else happening right now. I really haven't had time to really watch too much TV or anything. Work has been super busy. I've spent a lot of time out at the facilities on site looking at their HVAC and boilers and all that kind of stuff and planning projects for the summer, which has been really fun. We did start watching a show called The Sinner, which came out a few years ago. That's been very, very good. Really enjoyed that. It's kind of like a psychological drama / thriller-ish show. It's really, really good. It's all about character development, and Bill Pullman is in it, who I just love to pieces. So that's been really fun. I have been reading, I started a new series. I should tell you about this series. And there's a fly in here. Perfect. Love that for me. I finished Ghostwood Song, which was really, really good. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. It's a YA book, and so it has kind of like, you know, teenage romance, but it's also kind of supernatural. It's set in like the southern part of Florida, if that makes sense. Like the part of Florida that feels like you're in the South, like not Miami or Orlando. It's like, and the narrator has a great like regional accent that makes sense for the story. I listen to most of my books on Audible instead of reading physical books, but yeah, really enjoyed that one. It was a really interesting narrative, and there's also like a lot of like bluegrass music that's involved with the story, so it's really fun to listen to the bluegrass songs that she talks about in the book, like kind of as you're reading, just to like keep this whole like experience going with the book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a pretty quick read. It was like 12 hours of reading. And then I started this series by N.K. Jemisin, which, okay, I don't know how I did not know about this fantasy / science fiction writer. Had no idea about this person. And so if you read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, you probably know that there are not a lot of women writers and not a lot of people of color writers. They're just, it's usually just white dudes, which is fine. White dudes can write sci-fi and fantasy and it's awesome. But you don't always get the perspective from, you know, a person of color or woman or just anybody who's not a white dude. That perspective is just not always included. And as happens, right, you will, once you start interacting with something like Facebook, Twitter, like all your social media or whatever, like all of a sudden you start seeing ads for the thing that you're already like interacting with or looking into or whatever. So this ad comes up, and it is this absolutely beautiful Black lady who is reading the beginning of this book. And then she's like, I'm N.K. Jemisin. Sorry, excuse me. I'm N.K. Jemisin, and this is my master class. And I was like, oh, you are the writer of this book that I'm like in love with? Oh my God, I was just like in love with it so much more. Because in the book, well, I don't want to spoil it because everybody should read this book. But the first book is called The Fifth Season, and it's a trilogy. And yeah, it is, I just don't even know how to describe like how good this is. And again, this is a book, and this book was written, hold on, when was this book written? Let me look. Okay, so this book was written in 2015, and it is, again, and I think I said this about like the Bone Witch series, it's incredibly inclusive. Like, just writing about humans in every way that humans exist in the world, and writing about it in such a way that it's not the focus of the book, it's just normal human stuff. And I appreciate that so much. I get so tired of the same just single-minded way of viewing how people express themselves, and I just really appreciate when books are representative of how human beings actually are. I really like that. And this book does that, which is just great. I'm assuming the whole trilogy will do that. But anyway, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I can't even tell you. It's so good. So yeah, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Highly recommend it. This is not YA. So there is some like, there's a little bit of sexual content, but you guys know if you listen to my other like book chatty portions, like I'm not into like the overtly sexual. Like Outlander to me is a little too frisky, okay? So like if this is not Outlander level of friskiness, but there is some sexual content. There's some kind of difficult things to do with children, but they're really important to the storyline and like what is going on. So there is some like kind of trigger warning stuff to be aware of, but it's really well written. It's a really important commentary, I feel like, on humanity. It addresses issues that are it's weird to read a sci-fi book or a fantasy book and just realize that it is addressing like systemic issues that we're dealing with today, but in like a completely different world and different setting and different circumstances. It's just so good. Just read it. Just read it. It's so good. And if you're reading it, then let's chat about it, because I want to talk to other people who are reading the series. So yeah, so that's what I'm reading. And that's pretty much all I've been doing. I've been doing so much driving in the car, so I'm just plowing through this trilogy. I'm just finishing book 1 and I downloaded book 2. And yeah, I'm going through it pretty fast because these are pretty meaty books. And they completely just jumped all the other books in my queue. I had a whole other list of things I was going to read, and I'm not reading any of them now until I finish this whole trilogy because I have to know what happens. So there's that. And yeah, what else is going on? It's like I said, it's just been a lot of crazy with the house and the kids being here all the time. We're coming to the end of the school year, which is great. And yeah, the kids have been, you know, doing pretty well with all of their health issues and stuff. So that's been good. Knock on wood. And yeah, I think that's about it. We've had we've had like some not great stuff happening too. Like the dog has developed a mass on his side and he's had some behavioral changes. So he's going to the vet next week. Hopefully it's nothing really serious. But yeah, he's just been acting super weird. And like I said, we found this mass on his side, so it needs to get looked at, and hoping that turns out okay. I feel like time is just going by very, very, very fast. And I'm just trying to take things one day at a time. And I'm trying to give myself a lot of grace because I'm not finishing all the things that I would like to finish. And every time I turn around, it seems like something else is happening that needs my immediate undivided attention. And that's just the season that we're in right now. And you just kind of have to be okay with it when that's where you're at, right? What else are you gonna do? So that's all I have for you today, I think. So again, thanks for coming back. Thanks for, checking in and watching this podcast and doing all the YouTube things, liking and commenting and subscribing and all that stuff. It's been really, 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 really fun watching this channel and this little community grow. So, and I will try to be more involved going forward. We'll see what life has in store. I keep saying that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but in truth, life has other plans sometimes, and that's okay. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Hope you're staying safe and staying strong, and I'll catch you on the next one. So bye for now.
Be thou my battle shield, a sword for the fight, while I cower behind